And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I was just saying to my friend actually, it's been a very slow news day, but step forward, Nigel Farage, as he's gone absolutely ham and absolutely nuclear on a BBC reporter. Now, we've seen the mainstream media come after the Reform Party. The way they demonise them in the media at this moment in time is unacceptable. It kind of mirrors what the mainstream media were doing out in the United States with regard to Donald Trump. Some of it's been quite frankly unacceptable, in all honesty. But yeah, Nigel Farage loses the plot and goes for the jugular on this BBC reporter. Watch to the end, it's golden. As always, guys, we will watch and react, but first, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. So yeah, without any further ado, the BBC, of course, still creating headlines at this moment in time, and at Nigel Farage's sort of live conference, talking about the sort of mayoral elections being cancelled. This is what he said to a BBC reporter.
Open about anything. Can I ask just about something different?
So, yes, of course you can. My dear fellow, I would expect nothing less from our favourite national broadcaster.
This morning, Richard Tice said on the radio, he was asked about the comments made by schoolmates of yours who have said that comments you made they viewed as racist and offensive. He said that they were lying. You have said before that you did make comments. It may have been banter. It wasn't directly racially abusing anyone. So Richard Tice is wrong, isn't he?
I thought this morning's performance by one of your lower grade presenters on the Today programme was utterly disgraceful. I think to frame a question around the leader of Reform's relationship with Hitler, which is how she framed it, was despicable, disgusting, beyond belief. Are you surprised that 500,000 people every year refuse to pay the licence fee? But let me say this to you. The double standards and hypocrisy of the BBC are absolutely astonishing. At the time I was alleged to have made these remarks, one of your most popular weekly shows was the Black and White Minstrels, right? The BBC were very happy to use blackface. Oh, and not just in the Black and White Minstrels, you did it in It Ain't Half Hot Mum as well. And what about Alf Garnett? Do you remember what he called Marigold? Do you remember the word he used to describe Marigold on not live, but on primetime national TV? I better not repeat the word, otherwise you'll all use it and say that I used it. Homophobia? It ain't half hot, mum. Are you being served? Oh, and what about Bernard Manning? Perfectly happy at exactly the same time for Bernard Manning to appear on primetime national BBC comedy, telling jokes for which these days you'd probably get a knock at the door from our thought police and perhaps get a 31-month prison sentence. I cannot put up with the double standards of the BBC about what I'm alleged to have said 49 years ago and what you were putting out on mainstream content. So I want an apology from the BBC for virtually everything you did throughout the 1970s and 80s. And I will respond to your direct question. I've received many letters over the course of the last few days from people that I was at school with. This one I think is particularly relevant. I was a Jewish pupil at Dulwich College at the same time, and I remember him very well. While there was plenty of macho, tongue-in-cheek schoolboy banter, it was humour. And yes, sometimes it was offensive, rather like most of the BBC's output, but never with malice. I never heard him racially abuse anyone. If he had, he would have been reported and punished. He wasn't. The news stories are without evidence except for belatedly politically dubious recollections from nearly half a century ago. Back in the 1970s, the culture was very different. Perhaps, Damon, you should reflect on that. Especially at Dulwich. Lots of boys said things they'd regret today, or just laugh at. Whilst Nigel stood out, he was neither aggressive nor a racist. If I can help in any way, let me know. And I've had plenty of those messages over the course of the last few days, and I'm sick to death of the double standards and hypocrisy, above all, of your organisation and what happened on the Today programme this morning was a complete bloody disgrace.
Now, Nigel is absolutely right here. Again, look, listen, with everything, to be fair. And credit to him for going ham on them, because they've gone away with literal murder over the last few years, or the last decades, quite frankly. They're an absolute disgrace of an organisation. And again, 1970s we're talking about here. A completely different landscape of the country, rightfully or wrongly. That's up for you to decide. But I'm young. I wasn't even alive then. But in the noughties, the television was completely different as to how it is 15 years or 20 years later. And this is a thing that's echoed in all sorts of generations. But the BBC get desperate with absolutely everything. When they try to cancel somebody, or the mainstream media tries to cancel somebody, they'll try and find anybody from their past to say something and bring something up. We've seen it with countless people. Russell Brand currently going through it right now. Tate, another one. Loads and loads and loads of instances where they try and bring somebody up from the past to try and cancel them. And what we're seeing now is the mainstream media all colluding together to try and demonize the Reform Party, because they are the leading party. They're who people want in power at this moment in time. They're who will win a general election. They are going to win the next general election. And they can't stand it. The establishment cannot stand it. And now they're using dirty tactics to try and demonize and, of course, try and defame individuals within inside that party as they're running out of ideas. And this is the way that they try and do it. They try and cancel them. They try and bring up bogus claims. It's probably going to get a whole lot worse for Nigel and the Reform Party as the sort of years tick on, as we get closer to this general election. But that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to cancel him. They're trying to make something out to be something and it's not. If you really want to look at scandals here, you should be digging 49 years ago with something that Nigel Farage allegedly said in school. We should be looking at how the Labour government are operating at this moment in time. Remember, there's been claims that they misled the public just a week ago with the budget, the whole China fiasco that's been going on at this moment in time, the cancellation of the mayoral elections. There's loads of things that the Labour politicians, Angela Rayner, not paying stamp duty tax whilst being housing minister. I can go on for days with the amount of scandals that's happening there, but they ignore this because they protect the establishment. This is certainly a new tactic, and it's not what we're seeing. Yes, we're seeing it in the media, but we're also seeing it in the schools as well, where we're starting to see classrooms in year 9 in Ashfield, in Lee Anderson's constituency, put a picture of Nigel Farage and Mussolini, Adolf Hitler, Lee Anderson, all in the same sort of bracket next to the Nazi flag. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to psyop the youth, and they're trying to take people away from voting for reform, and I think it's absolutely disgusting. But credit to Nigel Farage for going for the BBC reporter there. Guys, as always, do let me know your thoughts on this down there in the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.